So thought I'd take a little sidetrack today and do an instructional video for you. Kind of tell you how to work through a piece. This is some Flint River chert from Jeff Head. It's kind of got a pit here, so I don't mind doing any demonstrations on it. And kind of work my way through it, tell you how I do it, and maybe talk a little bit about platform, symmetry, kind of what goes through my mind when I'm working a piece. So first and foremost, this is a curved flake. And so this curve is not going to be in our final point. Our final point is going to be fairly straight like that. It's not going to be curved. You don't want a curved point. So we got to figure out where our widest, longest, flattest area is, and it's going to be this portion here. This portion along here is going to be our best bet. Now, we're seeking to get rid of a area to keep this and get rid of this. Because we could get rid of all this and just keep that, but who would want to keep that? We want to keep the long area. We got to realize that this is below center line, and so we need to chop this off. We can do that in a number of ways. You can use a lead-filled billet, or you can use a solid head billet, and you just strike down on it. Now, you can strike pretty high up on it, but you're kind of liable to have some shock. So you just want to take little nibbles. You see I'm turning this more and more. Just taking little nibbles. You don't really have to abrade because I'm putting enough force on that edge that it's doing what it needs to do. Now here is just kind of one of those opportune strikes to kind of thin out this area. It's still below center line. And it didn't really run because I'm hitting on cortex. So oftentimes you can set up a platform there by doing this. That's all cortex, but kind of shimmy to the side of it. You expose some of that chert. Then you take a braider and braid it a little bit and push inward and get a flake. Now oftentimes if this is still below center line, which kind of it is, you can abrade that and push in on that one too, and it'll work out. All right, now we've got a lot of cortex and a lot of grind to get around. You look at the shape from this angle, this is doing no good. Unless we have a point that's going from base to tip here and getting rid of all this, then fine. But we want our point from here to here. So we're gonna get rid of this. And it's kind of a wonky, wavy area anyways. So just take little nibbles. Now you might be asking, why am I not hitting on the chert side? Well, that's a good point. I'm not hitting on the chert side because I want to raise this edge up as high as I can to carve off all this cortex. If I were hitting this way, I might get rid of some of the cortex, along the edge, but then we'd still have all this stuff to get off. And so I want to raise this edge up so that I can use that platform to shoot across. Otherwise, this edge would be way up here and we'd have to do the process again to get it to shoot. So might as well take advantage of what we got. Abrade it. There's our cop. Every video we got a cop. And I like to do an isolation flake. If there's a good kind of ridge I want to follow, kind of meet my way up to it. And then I'll kind of abrade the area a little bit. and kind of hope for the best. All right, so it didn't take. Oftentimes these solid billets won't run all the way if it's not angled in a certain way. You don't really have the time to delineate all that, but I'm gonna lower this area or raise this area to catch it. Give it a nice, goodly little area. Now, I want to strike in. If I strike down, that's not thinning this out. That's just removing cortex. All right. So you want to reset this up a little bit. It's not going to do as good as it would have, but you want to strike more in. See, sometimes it can just, this billet can pile drive straight up. And really, if you want a good, nice flat flake, especially for beginners, I suggest this lead-filled copper bopper. It seems to do a little better job. Unless you're very proficient with the other one, this can draw off good flat flakes if you're looking for it. Okay. Now what am I seeing? What am I seeing? Well, the shape's getting there. Shape's getting there. I got a big cavity here. And that cavity's not going to be in the final point. And what I'm seeing is where that cavity is, there's a lip. So we want to run this lip on this face to get rid of material on this face. How do we do that? Well, angle us away and try to shoot down it. You can sometimes, if the cortex is thin enough, just hit right on the cortex. And kind of with what you're left, you want to build up a platform. And you want to try to hit on the chert and not on the cortex. And notice I struck back more than to the side, and that kind of carved out quite a bit. Now, a lot of ways to catch this area up here from the back by doing a zigzag pattern. And then, of course, when you have an area like this, you got to be careful. A thick platform next to a thin edge. You don't want to hit down like that, because it'll shock it and it'll likely break along that point, but you want to strike straight in. And even if it hinges, that's okay. We'll just catch it from the other side. Okay. See, there's still a little valley there. We want to run the valley. Run along the hill. Run along the hill. Make it a platform and run along the hill. Strike into that valley and try to get it going. Okay, now we look to this side. We got kind of our length up here, so we want to get rid of this to kind of even everything out. And again, there's a valley, so we want to get rid of that top layer. So we set up a platform. Right there. And we strike back. Back this way. Okay. All right, still got a valley. Got to get rid of it eventually. And once everything starts to even out, you can then start driving flakes across. Braid and shoot. And really for beginners, that's kind of what I suggest you try to do, is learn to hit straight into the piece rather than down. Straight into the piece. You'll break a few pieces at first, but once you kind of get it down pat, you'll be able to use it much easier in the future. Yep. Then you can bevel back. Kind of bevel the whole side. Kind of braid the whole side. If you aren't too picky with your flake selection. And just go mosey on up. Again, you see I'm pushing in this way now. Same thing as me holding it this way and pushing that way is the exact same as me pushing straight in there. Exact same. Same thing here. Just pushing straight in. Now you got to make sure you have the right convexity before you do it. Kind of a round over. Whoopsies. But you'll sometimes get hinges like that. Now just go to the other side. Do the exact same thing. And knock the hinge out. And it'll be a-okay. And you just keep repeating the process over and over. That's kind of a quick and easy way to start the Flintknapping journey. And get used to kind of finding the platforms that you need to find. And you can start to hold it in your hand if you want to. Once it gets a little thinner, I usually like to do that. And just peel flakes off. That's simple. And get you a good little biface. So this isn't the greatest chert. If it was heated, it'd be fantastic. You know, get you some candy stuff or some, some quartzite or some coral or something like that. And there's you, kind of one way to flint knap. I mean, there's so many different tactics and tools that you can use. I just showed you these two. I think I got both of these from flintknappingsupplies.com. But these are kind of the best to learn from, in my opinion. And anyways, Just a short little video. My long blade broke. I hit it so nicely that it overshot and kind of burnt me. So, hey, stuff happens. It would have been nice. Still get a good point or two out of it, so not a big deal. But yeah, hope y'all have a great day. And it's just a little video to post. But hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later. I think Marshall's ready to go. You ready to go?